This video, we're going to break down the requirements for the O-1 visa. If you're a startup founder or thinking about starting a company in the United States, if you have an idea and you're currently thinking, what is the best way for me to move to the United States to launch my company? The O-1 visa is the best way to do it. We'll talk about what are the requirements and how you can also meet those requirements by following the steps in this video. So if you are one of those founders, if you're thinking about coming to the United States to launch your business, this video is for you, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Immigration Channel. This is a place we get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration information, and everything else that you need to make your immigration journey less stressful. My name is Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California, and I help clients in all 50 states and all over the world. This video will focus on the O-1 visa, specifically the O-1A, which is considered to be the best visa option for venture-backed startup founders, those founders that are coming to the United States to raise money and build their companies here in the United States. We'll talk about the O-1A and what are the requirements for you to qualify for this visa. Before we do that, if you're here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. We're getting so many inquiries, so many emails from startup founders from all over the world looking to come to the United States to start launching their companies. Right now, a lot of venture capital is looking for new talent, and we have to find a way to be able to allow these individuals to come to the United States to work legally, and the O-1A is the best visa for that. So what is this O-1A visa about? O-1A visa allows you to live and work in the United States and raise capital and present your idea before investors and join incubators to be able to push and promote your startups in the United States. This is something that will allow you to expand and build your company, and it's a much more powerful visa than the B1 or the ESTA, which have a lot of limitations and are not allowing you to do a lot of things that you're supposed to do as a startup founder and somebody who is going to be eligible to receive funding from investors. The great thing about the O-1A visa is that eventually you'll be able to apply for permanent residency, which is also very important, specifically if you're growing a company, and gives a lot of confidence for your investors that you will be able to stay in the United States beyond the expiration of your visa. There are two kinds of O-1 visa. There's the O-1A, reserved for people that have extraordinary abilities in business, science, education, athletics, and the O-1B visa that is reserved for individuals with extraordinary ability in the arts and motion picture. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on the O-1A, which is the most common visa that we use to help founders stay and work in the United States. The O-1A is given for 3 years for those individuals with extraordinary abilities in business, in science, which is the most common areas for our startup founders. There are a few criteria to demonstrate extraordinary ability, and we're going to go through all of them and show you how you can also qualify by going through each one of these criteria. So make sure you watch this video all the way until the end, because I'm going to go through each one of these criteria and show you how you can qualify for the O-1A visa. And typically when we work with our O-1 applicants, we send them a checklist of requirements that they need to start collecting and gathering, and I'm going to go over this checklist with you of some of these requirements and see how you can get those as well. Number one is awards. In the area of startups, the best way to show that somebody got an award, except from actually getting an award, whether it's a competition or whether, let's say, you are in university and you finished your thesis and then you were able to get some sort of a grant because of your invention or because of your contribution to a particular project, that would be considered an award. In the startup world, the best way to show that is receiving an investment from a VC or some sort of a fund. Once again, if you've raised funds for your startup, you will qualify under the awards category. A lot of our founders are asking, what is the minimum amount required for me to qualify under this category? There's no minimum amount. As long as you were able to show that you raised some money, you went through the term sheet process, you were able to secure funding from a VC or some sort of an investor, you will qualify under the awards category. Now remember, it cannot be a family member that invested in you or an angel investor. It has to be an actual fund, a VC fund that is recognized to invest in other startups. If they had a lot of big startups that they invested in the past, we can show that they've invested in some companies that are known, even better. But if you get an investment from an angel or a family member back home, that's not going to satisfy the awards category. It has to be an actual venture capital fund. What if you don't have an investment yet? What can you do? Well, remember, we assume that before you started the startup, maybe you worked somewhere else, maybe you worked on a different project. Anything that you achieved from before that project will also count. So think back and see where else were you recognized. Maybe there are organizations in your field that you can apply to be nominated for some awards or for some things that you're currently working on but they're not aware of. It's not bad to apply and share what you're working on. Who knows? Maybe they'll decide to choose you and still nominate you because currently you don't have any nominations. Another good idea is to apply for an accelerator or an incubator like Y Combinator, 500 Startups, Techstars, and many others are always looking for bright startups. You can apply and try many of them, and who knows, maybe you'll get into a few of them. But that will be also a great qualification to show that you've been recognized by somebody that actually works with startups and they decided to choose you to be part of their project. So those are some of the things you can do now if you don't meet the awards requirement yet. The second requirement for an O-1 visa is critical or essential role at a distinguished organization. As a founder, obviously you're essential to the operation of your company, but maybe you've been a key employee in other companies before. We can show that you've demonstrated an important role in the growth of those companies. If you don't have press about your involvement, we usually recommend getting some letters from other co-founders that can demonstrate how important your position was to the company's growth and getting to the next step. The next requirement is press. We always recommend to get press. It is essential for the success of your case. Were you interviewed by, for example, outlet media like Forbes, Yahoo News, and etc.? Those are important to show that you've been recognized and people actually know about you and your involvement in the space. But what if you don't have any press yet? If you don't have any press yet, you can work with media brokers to be able to pitch your name to other publications so they can, or reporters that can look at what you do right now and maybe try to interview you and feature your story. Reporters are always looking for good stories, and it's important to be able to be proactive about it and share your information and your ideas with media outlets around while you're building the foundation for your O-1 case. Remember, focus on publications that are relevant to your space. It doesn't have to be the biggest publication in the world, but it has to be good enough to show that they cover your area, and in your area, you're considered to be an expert now. The press doesn't have to be US publications only. There could be international press. As long as they're relevant, USCIS will accept those. The next requirement is judge in a competition. Being a judge in a competition in your field is essential to prove one of the elements of the O-1 visa categories. What USCIS is looking to see is that you've been considered to be an expert enough to judge other people's work in your space. If we can show that, then you can meet that requirement. It's really, really good and very powerful to push your case for approval. But if you have not judged any competition so far, not a big deal. Maybe award ceremonies, maybe panels that talk about your field, and try to apply to be a judge. You never know. Some of them are looking for experts and you could be the one that they are looking for. Reach out to your network and see who knows people that can pitch you to those competitions so you can be at least a judge in one of them. Those are going to be essential and very helpful for the success of your case. You have to be a member of a professional organization in your space to qualify for the O-1 visa. If you can show those memberships, your chances of getting this visa are going to increase significantly. But it cannot be just any organization. It has to be an organization that requires outstanding achievement. For example, if you're a member already of an accelerator like Y Combinator, 500 Startups, etc., that's already a big thing and that will satisfy the membership requirement. If you don't have any memberships yet, it's not too late. You can start looking for some distinguished memberships and see if you can apply and see if you meet the qualifications to apply for those memberships. You can also apply for different entrepreneurial organizations and even apply to volunteer as a board member on these organizations. Very important and very helpful to satisfy the membership requirements for the O-1 visa. Another important requirement for the O-1A is a high salary. How do you prove that? Most people think that you need a very, very high salary. That's not true. There's no minimum requirement for a salary set by USCIS. A lot of venture-backed startup founders use the equity they have in the company to satisfy that requirement. If you don't have any venture-backed history, you can go back in your previous employment and look at your salary compared to others. If you are in the top earners category compared to others, and you can show that through a chart or some survey, you can easily satisfy the requirement. Especially if these salaries are coming from foreign countries, it's easy to compare yourself to the average and show that you're definitely in the upper level of that pay scale. The next requirement is scholarly articles. What are those? Those are typically research published articles in peer-reviewed journals. Maybe during your time in university, if you're a researcher and you're working on a science-based lab, you probably publish articles during your master's or your PhD thesis, and we can use some of those to qualify under this category as well. Another requirement is original contributions. What are those? Original contributions could be maybe some of the stuff that you worked on is patented, maybe somebody is using your invention to improve a process or improve somebody's life. There's also going to be relevant evidence to be able to use in this particular category. For example, we had a client who invented a particular process to purify water. We were able to show that his invention is being used in certain countries in Africa, and this was good enough to satisfy this particular category of original contribution. Remember, you only need 3 out of all these criteria we discussed here. If you can satisfy at least 3, be eligible to get the O-1A visa and be able to work here, raise money for your startup, and eventually apply for permanent residency. If you're a startup founder or looking to start your company in the United States or want evaluation if you qualify for the O-1 visa, text me right here, 619-483-4549. I'm here for you, ready to take you to the next level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.